All right, guys, welcome to Flavo Rihanna's MMA show. I'm your host, Flavo Rihanna, brought to you by Four Corner Sports. All right, guys, so we got some big news going on that just got released earlier today. We got a headliner, all right, and UFC 268 is sooner than you think, all right? So we have, obviously, 266, we got 67, and we got 268. Wow. It's a lot of good stuff. I mean, the year for what's it called? The matchmakers, they're compiling. They're already getting everything squared away. They already know what they want to have for each card, and they're up to UFC 268, November's pay-per-view card. All right. Yesterday we had some news about how UFC 267 will be a non-slated pay-per-view. It would be a free pay-per-view that we broadcasted on ESPN Plus. So that's kind of good. I mean, saves us, the public, $70 instead of having to buy for the pay-per-view. That will have Jan Blachowicz versus Glover Teixeira. That's most likely going to be the main event. The second title fight would be Aljamain Sterling versus Peter Yan. All right. We also have Hamza Chimaev on that card against Li Jingliang, the Leech. And I think there should be a couple of other fights on that card that haven't been officially confirmed, but they're more towards the working. All right, wouldn't be surprised if there's an Islam Makhachev fight on that card. But the big news that happened today, the very big news, UFC 268 is gonna have the main event, one of the best title fights that we've ever seen, the rematch of Kamar Usman versus Colby Chaos Covington. Yes, we are officially going to have it in November. All right. No date has been official as of yet. I mean, there's been rumors about it being November 7th. I wouldn't believe that up until you get the official, until you see confirmation, whether it's by Dana White, the UFC, or whatever. But yeah, Brett Okamoto was the one that ended up releasing the story. He got told that the story is going to be, it's a confirmed bout between Kamar Usman versus Colby Covington. Guys, UFC 245. Those two gentlemen ended up squaring off in the Octagon in Las Vegas at the T-Mobile Arena. It was a triple title fight card. It had Usman versus Covington. That was Usman's first title defense. They also had Max Holloway versus Alexander Volkanovski. That's when Volkanovski ended up becoming champ. And it also had Amanda Nunes versus Jermaine Durandamy. That was a killer of a card. But what stole the show was Usman versus Covington. I personally thought that was one of the best male title fights I've ever seen. For females, obviously, I would say it has to be Weili Zhang versus Joanna Jędrzejczyk as possibly the best female title fight of all time. But as for male, Colby Covington versus Kamar Usman is definitely up there. I would say easily top 5. I can't give you my top 5 as of right now, just because of the fact that I want to keep the content solely focused on Covington versus Usman. That fight was a phenomenal fight. Went 5 rounds. It got stopped in the 5th round via punches. Kamar Usman ended up dropping Covington, and there was a rumor that Covington's jaw was broken. That was not true. It got rumored because of the fact that Covington, thought that his jaw was broken, and the only reason why they haven't had the rematch immediately was because of the fact that there was a rumor of Colby Covington's jaw being broken. But that ended up starting the reign of the Kamar Usman era, where he's been having multiple title defenses, and since then, he's faced Jorge Masvidal twice. He has faced Gilbert Burns, and now he's going to make, I believe, his 3rd title defense, right? I'm sorry, his 4th title defense. He's going to try to make it successfully against Colby Covington. Honestly, this should be Kamar Usman's toughest test. I expect both fighters to have different game plans. I mean, Usman has grown as a fighter since his last fight against Covington, and Covington, he's only had one fight since. And that's when he ended up dominating Tyron Woodley. So I'm not 100% sure what Colby Covington we're expected to see. We've seen plenty of Usman. We've seen Usman, grapple and hold on to Jorge Masvidal for 25 minutes. We've seen Kamar Usman that got dropped by Gilbert Burns in the first round and was able to capitalize in the second round and go for the finish. And then we've seen a Kamar Usman who ended up stopping and knocking out cold Jorge Masvidal with a clean right hook that put Masvidal to sleep at one point. So we've seen different versions of Kamar Usman. We haven't seen much of Colby Covington. So Covington is a big question mark. I know he is working out at MMA Masters. Kamar Usman has been training with Trevor Whitman. So we've seen the progression with Kamar Usman. We haven't seen much with what's it called, Covington. Only reason I'm saying that is because the sample size of that Tyron Woodley fight, it was Tyron Woodley who was on a losing streak. All right, he got dominated by Usman when he lost the belt. He got dominated by Gilbert Burns. All right. He got stopped in the 5th round because of a rib injury. I think Woodley had said that he broke his rib or something like that, or his rib popped. And so we just seen, Covington dominate. All right, same way that he dominated RDA, but he got dropped by Usman. So let's see how much of a transition he has made. Is Covington gonna be Is Covington going to change his game plan? Is he going to be able to? Is he going to want to shoot for a takedown? Is he going to want to grapple with Usman? Who's the better grappler? Okay, because the first fight, it was just straight out punches. It was just like a boxing match, and it was back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. It was one of the best matches I've ever seen inside of the UFC, and there was so much animosity. The animosity is still there. The animosity is a lot stronger between Covington and Usman compared to Usman versus Masvidal. Masvidal just wanted the belt, all right? And there was just a little bit of built-in hype in it with Masvidal. This with Covington and Usman, it is very personal. So we kind of want to see, what transpires, right? We saw the infamous, stare down and bickering that happened after Covington dominated Robbie Lawler in Newark, New Jersey in that fight night. All right, where Covington had to be separated by UFC security, and Usman, who was wearing the desk that night, he was calling the fights. He was with Karen Bryant and I believe Anthony Smith, if I'm not mistaken, and they were doing the UFC post-fight show. And Covington and Usman had to get separated at that point because it was starting to get ugly. But I'm very excited to see, what's going to happen. That they're targeting MSG, they're targeting Madison Square Garden. I'm very excited to see, what's going to happen if that does happen to be Madison Square Garden. If it's in Madison Square Garden, I assure you, I will be in attendance. I will buy tickets to go to that card. All right, I'm not that far from the Garden, and I would not want to miss this fight. I personally would not. There's also rumors. These things are not 100% accurate. But I heard there was rumors of Jorge Masvidal and Nate Diaz on the card. That would be a phenomenal. That would fit perfectly well in the co-main event. I would imagine those guys would want it to be a 5-round co-main event. So that would fit well. Spoke with Brandy Costa earlier today through Twitter. Asked him if he would be interested. He said nothing has been offered as of yet, but if something's offered for that MSG card, he's 100% taking it. So that's something to look forward to. We saw Brandy Costa just fight on this past Saturday against Adrian Yanez. He went running today. He looked perfectly fine. He's trying to get himself onto one of these big cards, whether it's the September card, whether it's in T-Mobile Arena for that 2-fight title fight card, plus the return of Nick Diaz, whether it's in Abu Dhabi or whether it's in a Madison Square Garden. That has not been officially finalized yet. But yeah, so that's the direction that the UFC is trying to go to. As for the headline of Kamar Usman versus Colby Covington, honestly, that it doesn't get any bigger than Madison Square Garden. We had so many big combat fights, especially in boxing, being held there. We also had obviously the return of George St. Pierre when he won his belt against Michael Bisping. We had Daniel Cormier defended his heavyweight title against Derek Lewis. We also had T.J. Dillashaw recapture his bantamweight belt over Cody Garbrandt. We had the infamous moment of Rose Namajunas, knocking out Joanna Jędrzejczyk. We also had Conor McGregor become the first ever two division champ, defeating Eddie Alvarez there. So there's a lot of history when it comes to the UFC there. Will we see a new champ at the welterweight division? it is possible. Colby Covington seems like the biggest threat to Kamar Usman's reign in the welterweight division. But Kamar Usman is one of the best welterweights of all time. All right, I have him up there, number 3, as the best welterweight, third best welterweight of all time, behind Matt Hughes and George St. Pierre. But yeah, guys, so that is what the big news is. Cannot wait. Just waiting to hear when they're gonna have a pre-sale. I'll buy tickets. I would love to see, many fans, that follow this channel at that event. And I'll keep you guys more posted on any news that are going to be breaking as for the UFC. All right, guys. Until then, I'm Flavio Rihanna. Thank you for tuning in to Flavio Rihanna's MMA show. I'm your host, Flavio Rihanna. And I'll see you guys next time. Please hit that like and subscribe button, guys. That does really help out the channel. Until then, peace, guys, and have a good one.